Ah, he's back for the third day in a row. But of course, that's what practice is. So, hi everybody, Levi Clay here, back again for another live stream. As I say, third live stream in a row, 3 days in a row. Of course, I'm promoting the fact that my new book is out. So if you want to head on over to Amazon and grab yourself a copy of Guided Practice Routines for Guitar Advanced Level. There's also 2 other books in that series: Guided Practice Routines Advanced Level, Intermediate Level, and Foundations Level. I do recommend the Foundations Level book. I think that Foundations Level book is going to present challenge for you, even if you are a pretty intermediate or even advanced guitar player. So worth considering. Anyway, today I thought I'd mix things up a little bit. Rather than, it's still an Ask Me Anything. I'm still going to be here taking your questions. But instead of focusing on, viewer questions, I thought it might be interesting to look at some of the things that I practice, or more importantly, how I go about practicing things. Because, of course, practice is something that I think can be deeply personal. I think, different people like to practice in different ways. And I don't think that my methods of practice are anything unique. But I guess it might be interesting to you to see what kind of camp I fall in with my practice and how I go about practice. So pretty simple in concept. But I want to warm up. So I'm gonna jump on over to my guitar. Let's do this. I've got my Leslie sound on at the moment, so that really nice. Nonsense, and of course I like that. Gets me moving. Just wanting to, of course, I should probably make sure I'm in sync, shouldn't I? My sync out? My sync looks a little bit out. Sure, we can fix that. Let me just close. Check, check, check. That should be better. Thanks for pointing that out, Zach. Try again. That's enough of my random nonsense. let's talk about actual practice, because of course that's what I'm here to do. So yeah, for me, not to sell the book, but I'm not going to sit. Don't worry, I'm not going to say. Well, what I like to do is I like to open one of my books and I go to no. But I do like books. I'm a big fan of books, and I guess the reason for that is pretty simple. A lot of the music that I love, listen to, and try to learn from, is older music, right? Of course, I listen to a lot of old blues and jazz and country music, and while there is some interesting kind of cutting edge modern players out there, that doesn't interest me nearly as much as a lot of the tradition does, right? So for me, books work really well because a lot of the guys that were about during those times creating the educational material for that sort of thing would write books. You know, you can't go back to guys in the 70s and go, oh, why did he never release a video course? Of course, you know, you had access to things like, when we're talking about guitar, like Hot Licks videos, or like the Alfred REH stuff, Roger Hutchinson stuff. And then we're definitely, you know, like the Stefan Grossman stuff, which is excellent. He has some really great videos. There's a lot of the Vestapool DVD video collection. Lick Library came along, but in the 70s, not so much. So I think a lot of the guys that I like to learn from are older guys. How do you stop yourself from just noodling? Have the books and videos, but still just noodle. You're not working on the books or the videos. I mean, I know it's a weird thing for me to say because I just noodled, right? But practice needs to be focused. We have to understand that there's a huge difference between practice and playing and learning, actually. Those three things, they are different things. Today we're going to do a little bit of learning. We're going to learn a thing, or I'm going to learn a thing, and then I'm going to focus on applying that thing to practice. So you learn a thing, then you practice the thing until you know the thing, and then you get better at using the thing. That's the playing. And I think people always want to jump to the playing. That obviously makes sense. You want to play, right? But I'm not about that. I mean, I am about that, but I don't want my students having fun. Have fun eventually, but you'll have more fun on your instrument when you're well practiced, when you know the things that you want to play. So anyway, the book that I'm going to use as a kind of practice tool for myself this evening is a book called Understanding the Diminished Scale. This is by Walt, I assume, Weiskopf. Weskopf. Weiskopf. This is a Jamie Ebersold jazz book, and it was published in... It's not actually that old. 2012. I like a lot of the Ebersold books. And the first thing to note about this, of course, is this is not a book that's written for the guitar. There's a lot of notation in here. So there needs to be a degree of knowledge of notation to be able to work from a book like this. But the principle is going to be the same no matter what you're working from. Of course, all of my books written for guitar players, so they have tablature. But when I'm working on something like this, I don't have that luxury. So, yeah, cool book. I remember, I'll still have a sticker on this. Is it the... I purchased this, it must be about 12 years ago. The first time I went to the United States, was it this one or the Augmented Scales book? I think it was actually the Augmented Scales book, but I've started the story, so I must finish, right? I remember being driving Route 66 and then getting to the end of Route 66 and being stuck in a hotel, and there was just this little music shop, and I wandered in and was just looking at things they had, and it was the Augmented Scale book. This came later. And I was like, wow, what a really over-the-top nerdy book. I must have it. And I thought it was this book, and then I've turned it over, and I can see on the back that Augmented Scale book, and I'm like, yeah, I have that book. That was the one that the memory is formed from. Anyway, so Diminished Scale. And I like looking at stuff like this because, as I say, because it's not for the guitar, it requires a little bit of brain work on my part to translate the information to my instrument. I don't just mean notation. I mean fretboard navigation, right? The thing I always kind of love about looking at books that are written for different instruments is when I look at exercise 1 in this book, which is this page here, that's 12 lines of music because they've written the exercise out in 12 keys. And of course the nature of the guitar, it's not that we learn thing in one way and then that's us done. I should have really had a music stand for this, right? But I think the nature of the guitar is that we are very shape-based. So if you learn a phrase, I wouldn't say you now need to practice that phrase in F or E flat or G, because the shape-based side of things has kind of done that for us. But what you maybe do need to have more of a mastery of on the guitar, and there's a big part of what I do on my weekly guided practice routines on Patreon, is, you know, fretboard knowledge, like having a real good knowledge of the instrument, because if I play that in G here, I want to be able to play that idea in a different place. Could I do it here? And then we can't play a double stop there, so I'd have to do that. Anyway, besides the point, like that's fretboard knowledge. So we have to apply this stuff to I'll answer that in a second, dude. We have to apply like that knowledge of things, but the tricky part of the guitar, of course, is overcoming the fingering challenges. So when it comes to, like, I don't know, let's say you're practicing an A major scale. Do we play it like that, or do we play it like this? Or do we play it like this? What do I do there? Or do we play it like this? There's all, you know, just I'm deliberately looking for obtuse ways of playing now. A more obtuse way of playing it every time. But we have to have like that knowledge of how our strings relate to each other. So I think when it comes to practicing this, while it might not be about necessarily playing something in 12 keys, I'm always looking to do 3 keys, but more on that as we go. I am looking for fingering mastery. So when I look at the first exercise in here, and he's got the he's playing a B flat whole half diminished scale. So starting on that B flat, we're going to go. He's going up to the B flat, so we'll. Oh, I could practice this for. And I do, like that very much would be a thing that I would practice until it's like drilled in. Now, actually, let me answer that question. So why do I think Osnoy has so much on all of us? Osnoy's a freak. That's why he has so much, why he has all this stuff on us. Still to this day, one of the scariest things I have ever seen was I did an online masterclass with Osnoy, and he was talking about playing over changes, playing jazz standards and warming up, and he was working on Donna Lee, and he kept his hand here on the guitar. Of course, it's easy to play a melody and move it up and down to, you know, wherever it wants to go, wherever your hand wants to go. But he kept his hand in one place on the neck, and he played the melody to Donna Lee in like 7 different keys. It was very impressive because it was like he was going around the circle of fourths. Very, very impressive, like a freakish control of the instrument. Anyway, let me talk about what I was going to talk about. So I'm not a big metronome guy because I believe I'm a Jeff Berlin guy. I very much believe that time is not fixed. Timing speeds up and slows down, and playing with a metronome isn't going to inherently improve your time. It's going to help you measure, but what's better than a metronome is my own time, right? So I don't mean playing on my own, I mean setting up my own groove. So. Is bearable. So taking something like that and then using that for my practice. So I'm going to play this scale. So, and that's me playing. I mean, technically, I'm kind of breaking the rule there. Realistically, over a B flat, we really want. Do I know some very unique guitar techniques which nobody else knows? I have a trick in my arsenal which I don't really use very often, but it doesn't really work that well on a Strat because you have the bridge that pulls up when you do the bend. I have something that I think maybe I've only ever seen one other person do, and that is, we all know these pedal steel bends, these sorts of, we've heard those sorts of things, or but when you do that, what tends to happen you're always bending the bottom note. Now, sometimes you see people doing things like bending the top note. You see when I do that, the bottom notes go down, and we don't want that. So you see people do that. But what I wanted was to be able to do these voicings, like these higher voicings, and have the top note, the top note go up. But I can't do that because I can't bend that note. But what I can do is make the bottom note the top note with a harmonic. So if I play bridge pickup helps, and then bend like that. So to my ears, that's cooler than. I'm going to go. So yeah, that's something that occasionally that I will do, that sort of thing. So that, let me keep going. Respect to Noodlers. Hey Levi, found any favourite piano books you love? The one I'm working on now. Yeah, nothing really jumps out. The classics, you could work on things like Hannon, I guess. Hannon's a classic, so yeah, you have to work on things like Hannon. That guy on rhythm. That's it's a unique technique. Show us how you approach practice intervallic lines. I don't really practice intervallic lines, Austin. But I mean, I guess like it's going to get there with this sort of thing. Like, well, if I put that on, to me, what is an intervallic line if not the opposite of playing scale line, right? So if I go. So what I'm doing there is very much scalar, yeah? But I don't really ever practice or play scales. I'm more interested in arpeggio bass lines. So practicing. So that the difference in my mind when I do that is that the arpeggio bass line is going to have intervals in there that are greater than a semitone or a tone. So that's a fourth, right? It's a third, major third. It's a minor third. So there's distance between the notes. But then if you want to go further with it, well then you look at playing bigger intervals. So I might go. Practice like 6, maybe you go. And then you take a line like that and you work it, you go. What do we play? Yeah, but the more intervallic lines that you catch in the playing of, like, I want to say Eric Johnson and Carl Verheyen, who I love, is not really a huge part of my vocabulary. You want to go to guys like George Marius for stuff like that. My lines are more rooted in, traditional bop type things. Amp, I'm not. I'm going for a Kemper profiler. I'm using a 67 Deluxe reverb sound, and I have a little bit of overdrive from my Rev Tilt overdrive. Clean sound. Not really into hip hop, no, can't say I am. No, I can't give you tips on how to get faster at 2-note string licks, and the reason I can't is because I can't play them very well. Yeah, it's not really my jam. Anyway, so back to this exercise. Let's put it in the right key. We've got a let's play technically C. It's technically a C flat, right? C flat diminished scale. And this needs to be ingrained. Different fingerings, we could go. We could do the classic. And a book like this is going to encourage you to come up with stuff like that. Another thing you could do is you can go. We're here. We're playing on the B flat here, so we go. That's a different fingering. Yeah, then it takes a while to, like, this is very similar to that change. So that, it's funny, isn't it? It's like one little tiny little change in the fingering of that. If I play it the way I would normally play it, no mistakes are ever going to happen. I know that, like, that fingering is second nature to me, but then as soon as I... Ah, you fucker. So let's get that one. Shouldn't be difficult, but should be easy. This guitar is definitely not crying for a white pickguard. Black is the only way for something like this. Let me keep the comments going. Julian Lage, I mean, what a ridiculously great player. Such a great player. The stupid guy on rhythm. I mean, I've got a video lesson coming up on reading rhythms soon. Reading rhythms is unfortunately, I'll answer that. The thing with reading rhythms, I'll bring my face up. Actually, I'll bring this up. Go and buy a copy of my book. Not that that's the answer. The thing with learning to practice reading rhythms is you have to understand that learning to read rhythms is like learning to read words. I'm looking around me and I can see Gibson, I can see Yamaha, I can see Universal Audio, I can see Ultra Pro, Deck Box. I'm just looking around for more words. I can see Does, Metal, Soul. I can see words around me, right? Audio, Mixer. Do you practice? Like all these words that I can see around me. And when I see the word practice, I'm not looking at that and going, practice. You might do that when you first start out, but you have to transition in your ability to see a word into understanding the word as a whole. So I'm a big believer in taking a rhythm, whatever your rhythm is. Could just be this, right? 4/16 notes. Knowing what that looks like on the page, spending loads of time reading that along with playing it, until every time you see that, you know what it sounds like. And then the rhythm gets more complicated. So the next rhythm you might have is... That's 8th, 2/16, 8/8. Or that rhythm, ba ba da 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 ba da da ba da da, and I've got a pulse for that. Da 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 ba da da. I can vocalize it. It helps. If I saw that rhythm written out, I would process it as two separate rhythms. Ba ba da ba ba, and then ba ba da ba 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 da ba da ba ba da ba da 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 ba da. But it's like two short words that have been stitched together, and I've practiced reading both of them, so it's easy for me to process it. So yeah, that's the answer there. Stock profiles on the Kemper, or do I have any third-party profiles? The Michael Britt stuff is obviously fantastic. This, I forget if this is a stock one or one that I downloaded from the page, the share page. Totally unsure on that one. I've owned the Kemper for, I don't know, 7-8 years now, and I've got like 12 profiles on it. And then I didn't make any of them. I just wanted something that had good sounds, and it had good sounds, and I'm not really much of a tweaker, so yeah, it does have Dan Huff vibes to it, right? How do you get guitar players to stop playing? Put a piece of sheet music in front of them. Yeah, you want to know that stuff. Do you have a place you prefer we purchase your books? I mean, technically, I make a little bit more money if you buy them as PDFs from the Fundamental Changes website, but I cannot. I'm going to bring my face up for this one. I cannot express this enough, guys. I don't care, right? If Kindle is the best way for you to consume a book, then go and buy the Kindle version. It's the cheapest way you can buy the book. Go and buy a Kindle version. Leave it a review on Amazon. I can't express that enough. Go and buy the book. I would, if I could give you a free copy of the book so you could go and leave it a review, I would do that. But unfortunately, there's not a way that I can do that. Being in the book market, you are hoping people buy your product and then really hoping that they leave a review of it. I've sold tens of thousands of books, and for every 100 copies that you sell, you might get one review. You might get one review. Those reviews, they really, really help. So, came on, look for pork chop recipe video. I mean, I look like a pork chop, so that counts, Jeff. How's it going, brother? Practicing on the guitar and singing. I'm just going to jump in and do that Phrygian dominant thing that you asked about. So, similar vibe, right? Could do that with this. Yeah. That's a Phrygian dominant vibe over that. Anyway, I want to get onto the interesting stuff. So, this book, it has ascending and descending diminished scales. Well, to me, that's boring. Then it has ascending and descending inverted diminished scales. And as I said, I don't need to practice that in both keys. But what is useful on something like this is if I'm going to play I've got B flats, I'm going to play B flat whole, half whole. So I practice that. But what's really important to me is I need to be able to play that same thing around... Sorry, you can't see the guitar, can you? I need to be able to play the same thing around this area. A Wayne Krantz transcription. I did a Jake Lizzo collab. I thought you wanted a Lizzo cover there. I can do that for you. There's a Lizzo cover. Wayne Krantz. It's always looking for the right video of Wayne to do a transcription. I can never just find the right video. There's a column that I did years ago on Premier Guitar Magazine that you can go and check out. But yeah, hide the bananas. Yeah, that is a controversial one. I still play it live though. So fuck them. Anyway, so I played B flat whole, half whole. I need to be able to access that same information in this area of the neck. Now, how did I do that? Just without hesitation. Well, there's knowing that the B flat half whole diminished scale starts with a half step kind of helps. But I think what I actually did was I saw that half step there, and therefore we're going to have to go. And then I'm in the same physical fingering. Yeah, so now I can. And the same idea here, right? If this is my B flat 7 chord, I need to be able to see that same idea. Or if you whoops. B flat. Now, to be honest, what I've started to do there is what I would immediately move on to as my next practice thing. So before I go further in this book, I need to know without hesitation, and I'm letting you in on one of my big secrets here, without hesitation, that when I need to play a chord, a dominant chord, to me I only ever use 3 positions, because my triad forms, if I do it in C, right? 1 triad form, 2 triad form, 3 triad form. These are my 3 areas. So if I can see a C here, here, and here, those are my 3 areas. And I need to be able to access my diminished sound in those 3 areas. So I had 1 here. We're going to go half, whole. Let's change the chord. So like a C7 sound. Let's play it you want faster or slower? Didn't want that at all. Stupid loops. Why can I not delete my loops? There we go. Nope, still there. Gone. Fuck's sake. So I have to be able to see. That's brisk. Let's get some gain. Play it higher. And then what I force myself to do is I go arpeggio sound, diminished sound, arpeggio sound, because what we got here? I have transcribing video course. I've talked about it for a long time, but it never seems to happen. I'm going to slow this loop down a little bit because evidently I'm pushing it a little bit on that one because this is stuff I'm working on. This is new stuff to me. So. So, dominant idea. So I'm playing too much in the backing track there. Let's make it funkier. Let's go. I'll do. So what am I doing there? Well, I'm going out of my way to make sure that I know how that diminished scale exists around this area. My tone's still probably a little bit on the fuzzy side, so I'm going to take off some top end. Yeah, so I'm starting to feel so much more comfortable with that. So everything's improvised. I'm just improvising round and round and round and round, because this is how I like to do a lot of my practice. Now, of course, this is playing, but still very much practice. It's not straight up just jamming. There's definitely a lot of, I'm thinking about what's happening. Let's do the Osnoy. Losing that one, definitely losing it, but we're getting there. Let's play some of the sequences. We might go. So these, of course, are sequences that I know work. So working on some of those, just drill it. It's all in the position. So starting to feel, I think, definitely better, right? We'll get to triad-based. That's my C7 here. Then my next one is going to be here. I guess to a degree here. Same principle. If here's my 1, then playing this noise. So more blues. Bringing it on home to the sound of C7. Can I go over the basic setup for doing video and guitar audio at the same time? Helix, 4K cam, tried to set them up in OBS, not great. I also have a very powerful PC. Currently what I'm doing is I'm using ManyCam, piece of software called ManyCam. So I can bring that up so you can see it. This is Manicam. It's just like OBS, but it has its own microphone, so it's hearing all of my inputs. And then in OBS, which I am streaming out of, I then have the input, a microphone input, which is the microphone from Manicam. So it's a real workaround, but yeah. Start mixing the other two transposition to the diminished scale. Well, the other position, we're essentially getting there, right? So if I can do this. Play around that C7. I need to be able to play around this C7. That's that area of the neck. Then I want to be able to play what I always think of as home position, E shape. So I've got the outside sound and then I've got the inside sound. And I would spend so much time, I can't put into words how much time I would happily spend on this. I'm doing this, adding the other two, well, I guess you can for the sound of it. If we go. It's not the sort of thing I would do in my practice because it's not how I'd use it. Books, but I haven't gotten to them yet. In general, for improv, do you see chords and play strictly off of that? Yes. Yes. Well, no. I'm not a scale guy. To me, when I play this, I'm seeing this chord form, and then I know that so my chord always comes first. And then, of course, when I want to access this diminish, I think just being able to always find my way in is, and I am always seeing that around a chord, right? Triad pairs was mentioned. Whoops. probably a little bit on the fast side for the double time. It's too fast for the double time on that one for me. My technique just doesn't match that. Of course, I'm just having too much fun. I'm distracting myself. Shouldn't be distracting myself. Yeah, so what was I saying here? So when I play that scale, knowing, for me, the third is always like my most important note, because I'm... So being able to see this, and being able to see that my third flat 5/5 helps me that if I'm down here, yeah, that diminished sound, I'm just a big fan of it, so it's something I want to always get better at. So we did C shape, A shape, definitely on the brisk side for me. Oh look, we have a tip. Thank you very much. Got to run. Excited to dig into your books. Yeah, please do. 20-year player. Playing off chords is the best, man. And yeah, for those in the wanting to work on things, go and get guided practice routines for guitar, the advanced level. So we did that. Then we did this. You can never play outside if you can't play inside. So I need to be able to play this. Same idea here. I don't play stuff like that. Yeah, not my jam to do stuff like that. Sweet tempo. utter nonsense, but yeah. I love the scale up or down a half step too. Yeah. Dude, yes, dude, what's up? We want some triplets. It doesn't really... Yeah. Around my C shape, E shape, and then also here. So same idea here. Lost the groove there. Now I'm in this position where I think, I could be totally wrong on this, but I think that if I put some changes in front of myself where I needed to use a bit of diminished, I'd be in a better position to do that now. So if we put like a C7 going to an F7, let's go slower so I can maybe play some sextuplets. Fucking gotta delete the phrases. Okay, good question here. An observation. So, Levi, you never use hybrid picking when improvising. It's always the pick. Yeah. So what I'm doing here is I'm swinging. Yeah, I'm playing with a swing rhythm, and in order to maintain swing rhythm, in order to be really good at it, sometimes I'm good at it. Today's not that day. If I pick up a jazz box, I'm definitely better at that swing rhythm. What you find is any time you break motion from this, right? Think of strumming. If I go. Now, rhythmically, what I'm doing there is bat, 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 words to that effect. But if I was to try and go, it never sounds right. We have to have the motion in the hand. Every hit is always going to be really in time when I have this motion. So when I'm playing with this improvisational style where it's about rhythm, this, or if I fast, as soon as I break that rhythm, the rhythm breaks. The hybrid picking thing is a different thing. The hybrid picking thing comes much more in line with when you're. You play in a different way when you do that sort of thing, right? You're going to have more of a janky rhythm when you do that sort of thing. And the same thing applies to the sweep picking. I don't do it as much in my playing anymore, even though that's how I learned to play, because when you sweep, you rush. It just happens. Like, that's just the nature of the beast. Ain't no one ever playing through an arpeggio with a swing feel and sweeping it. You never. Let me play straight arpeggio if I go. Apparently I can't do that. Trying to sweep that. It just doesn't. It's not really happening. Yeah. So, well, thank you, Trevor. I mean, I am a country player by trade as well. I have, many best-selling country books on the market. That's really. Henderson when you do that, right? So countries like where I'm at for all of this stuff. Countries like So in My Roots, but when I'm really focusing on rhythm, sounds like that you can't really get away with this diminished stuff on the jazz thing, can you? Sorry, let's try it again. Can't really get away with the diminished stuff on the country tunes. It just doesn't sound right. But what I really want is, and there was definitely a question about songs. How do you practice a song for a gig? Songs that might be above your level. Nothing that it's going to make me sound really arrogant, but I'm missing the point here, right? I don't ever play anything that's above my level, and that's because I play in a band where the most important thing is the singer. Boom, that's it. The most important thing is the singer, and we play soul music, and be it the covers that we do or the originals that Melissa writes, there's just nothing challenging going on there compared to back in my days of having to play metal. So when I put on these, when I'm playing soul tunes, everything's going to be so much easier for me to learn. So if I do something like so if you do you see a lot of guitar players play this tune like this. I Wish, Stevie Wonder, yeah. It's not how I play it. I play. That's actually a fun one for soloing over, because none of that country language is employed when I improvise over this type of groove. I'm not going to play over that and go, let me lay down that bass groove. Okay, let's put a fatter sound on for that. So you have something like that, right? I'm not going to be playing over that and going. It doesn't really work for us because it's major, but. Yeah, I can't really country. You can't country over this. It just doesn't. I've got country influence in my lines, but you can't country over that. It just doesn't work. So I want to use this as my vehicle to go. Yeah, I want to play more over that, right? It sounds more authentic when I'm playing my Telecasters. But thank you, I really do appreciate that. I guess it just doesn't lend itself to it. It's just not that. I can't play like that shit anymore. If you worry about stuff like that, before you know it, you're starting to go. And it's just not here for me. Transcribing a million things. If you wanna play outside well, you need to transcribe a million things. So major 7. Flat 2. So that's a dark note, flat 5. Can we do a sharp 5? That's the hard one, actually, to be honest. Flat 6 really doesn't work on that because it fights the chord too much, right? Then just putting that all together and being able to play different scale sounds and knowing how to work those into melody. So focusing on the melody, if I go. Totally balls that. Played outside for too long, we need to play less outside. I guess you can use that as a way back in. play that line. I'm erasing them right now. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't really have much time to practice at all. I like doing streams like this because it allows me to practice. I'm going to do this for 5 more minutes. And, you know, the other thing, I'll be out gigging at the weekend and I'll make sure that I make a conscious effort to use this stuff. All that's gone. It's getting hot in here. It's fun. Why can I not end that? We can... you can't do this, you can't do big bends. These are tens. I always play tens. If you can't play bends, you have nothing. Yeah, so I'm just going to read the last few comments, then I'm going to head out because I've still got to walk my dog. Thank you so much for the tip from that one gentleman that gave me a tip. Of course, if you do want to support the channel, the best way to do that is head on over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/Levi Clay, link in the description. You can support me over there for as little as $1. Give me $1 and, well, you get nothing other than my thanks. But for $5, you get access to all of my transcriptions that I post. You get access to all my ear training at $10. You get access to my weekly guided practice routines at $20. And at $50, there are currently some slots available. You can have private lessons, which is cool. We can have one-to-one sessions like this. Yeah, so do that. And if you don't want to do that, well, you can also head on over to Amazon and check out my new book, Guided Practice Routines for Guitar. Let me read these last comments. I'd trade my kidney to have other people's guitar skills. Just sneeze off camera there. But thank you, it's very kind of you. Bought a guitar off of a co-worker, got an amp, haven't plugged it in yet. Where should I start learning? Foundation book. I mean, if you've not learned anything, my books probably aren't aimed at the complete beginner. Depends what you want to learn. My country guitar for beginners, is definitely for beginners. But I think there's a little bit more assumed knowledge in my foundation level practice book, if I'm honest. What do I think? Is it possible to play some instrument without any musical knowledge? Yes, totally. Yes. Yeah, totally. You know, there's tons of blind people that learn music because they didn't read from books or they never learned to read or anything like that. You just hear a thing and you copy a thing, and the more you do that, the more fluent you get. In the same way that there are plenty of people that are completely fluent speakers, wonderful speakers, that can't read or write. It happens, you know, because you learn to copy the language. So technical music is always a gimmick. Just play melody like Levi. Thank you very much, Trevor. That's really kind. That's what I try and focus on. Grew up listening to shrapnel and Yngwie. Same. Went to jazz later in life. Same. Jazz is much more challenging. Same. Agree. I don't consider myself a jazz player, obviously. Still love Yngwie too. Same myself. Yeah, still love Yngwie. I'll give you $1. I mean, I could. But I feel like I've given you like 5+ hours of streams in the last 3 days. So, I'll give you $1 if you really need me to. But I feel like I'm giving you so much. Yngwie is a stud. Am I still playing piano? Yeah. My piano is right here, and all of those. Sat in the right position. What am I doing? Smashed everything there. Yeah, leaning over and playing the piano like this is not the one. But evidently I need to warm up. But you get the idea. Still playing piano. Anyway, much love. I must go, but I'll be back for another stream tomorrow.